And we're back, Taylor and Justin. How's it going, Justin?
Hanging in there in my uh, impromptu office in our extra bedroom because my wife worked from home already, so I had to be quarantined from her in addition to being quarantined from everybody else.
It's okay. I'm at my mom's house and she's putting together a puzzle and my sister's doing homework. So we're just making this work. um,
We're all in this together.
We're all in this together. So, a quick video we wanted to do today. I'm the boss. I get to ask Justin four of the questions that we have been asked the most since we started putting out our policy solutions for dealing with the crisis. So, the first question is last week we put out a whole package of solutions. How were those received by state leaders?
They've been very well received. Some of them have already been acted upon. So the governor had already suspended close to 3 dozen regulations, particularly in the areas of healthcare and economics. You know, how to keep the supply chains going economically, how to provide access to better healthcare services for people. And so we issued the 20-point solutions last week to build on that. And several of them have already come to fruition. And we're having great conversations with the administration and with legislators as they get ready to come back in June to finish out session to tackle some of the others.
Yeah, let's hope that they jump on that and use that as kind of a blueprint or a roadmap to finding success here. And so that's looking forward. Looking backwards, what can we learn from this that we weren't doing before that could prepare us for any future crises?
Well, that's one thing that we need to look at is, number one, we have all these short-term suspensions of rules and regulations. Should some of those exist in the first place? So what can we do to make some of those things permanent so that we don't have to suspend them in the next pandemic or the next crisis? That those are just the policies of our state, that we have easy access to telehealth, that it's easy for healthcare professionals to provide their services across the state. And so we're going to look at making some of those things permanent so that we will be better prepared for a future pandemic. Because unfortunately, I think that hopefully it won't come often, but I think that this is something that we're going to battle for several years down the road, and so we need to be ready to address those things and figure out a way too to make sure that we're not just completely wrecking our economy in the process. So we've been very clear about, if businesses can maintain the health and safety of their employees and the public by adhering to those CDC guidelines, then they should be allowed to remain open. And not a lot of states have taken that approach. Tennessee has. And I hope that our economy will rebound faster because of things like that. Those are things that we can learn in the future so that we don't react the wrong way if this happens again, and that we can more easily overcome a crisis or pandemic without the economic consequences that are going to come with this one.
You went ahead and jumped ahead to the next question, which was what should our attitude be toward the businesses that say we can't close or we won't close right now? I mean, I know personally what our
Yeah,
attitudes
there's
are collectively.
yeah, there's this. Most states are saying you're either essential or you're non-essential, and that determines whether you can open. And Tennessee has done that. We have a list of essential businesses and non-essential, but have exemptions for those businesses that, regardless, can comply with the CDC guidelines. Have 10 or fewer people on the premises at any time, social distancing, sanitary conditions, and those kinds of things. And that applies to a lot of businesses in our state. Many of our businesses are small, mom and pop shops, and should be allowed to stay open because they don't pose a public health risk. And when it comes to this arbitrary distinction between essential versus non-essential, we may think something's essential or non-essential and should be shut down, but it's an important business to the supply chain for essential businesses. Or, I've never talked to anybody who said, yeah, my job's not essential. I don't need that paycheck. Every job is essential to that person. Every paycheck is essential to that worker. And so we need to make sure that we're not arbitrarily shutting down businesses that otherwise shouldn't have to close by using the wrong trigger, the wrong metric to make those determinations.
Agreed. So the last question while we're on kind of a fiscal note is there's been talk of property tax increases in Nashville specifically. I know that there's from our angle, there's a lot of, well, we should have been fiscally responsible on the other end of this. Why would we have to deal with property tax increases now? Walk us through that, Justin, how you would respond to talk of those increases.
They're concerning, especially given the timing and the fact that a lot of people that are in Nashville are struggling to make ends meet. A lot of businesses are closed. Most businesses are closed, unfortunately, still. And so, they're not going to have the ability to pay higher taxes. And we haven't really weighed in on what that looks like yet for two reasons. One, we don't know how much the tax increase is going to be. The mayor has just said that taxes will go up sharply. So he hasn't put a dollar figure on that. We do expect his budget to come out sometime this month so that we can start to analyze what's the budget hole, how much is he proposing in tax increases, and how much are we getting from the feds? I mean, we're probably looking at potentially in the hundreds of millions of dollars in federal relief. So what role does that play in helping mitigate or fill the budget hole that doesn't require increasing taxes on people? And so, we will definitely weigh in on this, rest assured. We're going to have some thoughts on it, but we need to take in some more information about those things before we can really decide, what's being proposed and what we should do instead.
So what you're saying is stay tuned, because we will have something to say.
We will be back.
We will be back. Thank you, Justin. I'm sure this will not be our last video that we do together in quarantine.
We still have a few weeks left at least, so let's make the most of it.
All right. Have a good day. Talk to you later.